The risks of AI mortgage advice. The potential regulatory shifts towards AI mortgage advice could have far-reaching implications for accountability, consumer protection, and financial harm if not carefully managed. The FCA is proposing changes. So the FCA is the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK. For anyone who doesn't know, they're like the regulator for all things finance and money. So the FCA is proposing changes to the mortgage advice perimeter to allow for AI tools to offer guidance with triggering regulatory obligations, without triggering regulatory obligations, sorry. Concerns about accountability, liability, and consumer harm loom large as technology outpaces regulation in the mortgage market. The parallels between AI mortgage advice and AI-guided driverless cars highlight the need for caution and clarity in regulatory frameworks, albeit death isn't necessarily on the cards when it comes to mortgages as opposed to driverless cars. But this is really interesting. If the FCA is proposing changes to mortgage advice to allow for more AI tools to be used, then if I was a mortgage advisor right now, I'd be shitting myself a little bit. I don't know what you guys think. What are you saying?
I think it's one of the roles that could easily, and this is actually a lot of mortgage advisors that I work with that just take something and give it to you. They're packing your bags at Tesco's. I don't want that. I want someone advising. So you go to them, what's good in the market, what's bad, what am I looking out for? If I'm taking this product, what are the potential limitations that a layman wouldn't know? And it's the advisory companies that will do well, and the people that just shovel shit from A to B that will get completely replaced by AI. So they should be worried. And they've got a valid reason to be worried, because they're just a manual version of AI.
It's true. And also the government's fucked this up as well with, especially on the licensed brokering side, where they've brought in like price caps and consumer protection rights to stop mortgage advisors from, taking the piss on what products to allocate based on what proc fees they'll get and things like that. But the second they bring in price caps, it's like, well, now you're not incentivizing brokers to offer best service. Instead, you make it a volume game, and it becomes voluminous, where there's less care for client service and more to just churn numbers out the door. So they shouldn't have got involved in the way they have. It's very heavily regulated. The same thing they've done with the whole financial sector. Same with IFAs and all kinds of advice, where they just want to tread a very careful path now, because if they step up of it, it's like, oh, you get court time, oh, you'll get done for fraud, oh, you'll get done for this and that, or bad advice, or you get sued. So then it just becomes voluminous, and it just ruins diversity and competitiveness in that marketplace. So, and you're absolutely right. They are just passing info from one to another. In most part anyway. AI can probably just do that a lot better in some cases. I don't think for development finance, I think you still want a good broker for that for a while, because there's a bit more nuance. I don't know what you think there.
I totally agree with both of you. I think you can apply it to the same. I mean, even like accountants and stuff, you can get good advice from good accountants, or you get people who are just reactive and you make decisions without any advice, and then you have to sort of clean up after. So yeah, I think brokers should be worried, but I think there's a lot of jobs that should be worried over the next few years with AI.
To put it in a bit of context, I was watching that the Godfather of AI. If you watched it on the Diary of the CEO, the guy that got interviewed a few weeks ago. I was watching his interview with. I actually got really bored of like the 4-person interview that they did on AI, but I found that one really interesting. And he said the biggest impact on people is actually going to be look like a what do you call them, like a paralegal, like lawyer, basically someone in law that just reads and drafts documents, because AI does that so much more efficiently now. And to put that into context, from a bottom level, so we're doing internships with Reading University, and we advertise 3 roles: an accounts and legal person, a project manager, and a surveyor. And out of the 3 roles, we had 2 people apply for the surveying role, and we had 59 apply for the legal role. And I'm thinking to myself, if that many people, because they're obviously, there's obviously struggle in the market already, because they're going in at entry level, where a lawyer can just actually go, let me just dunk that document into AI and find out any potential nuances. And it's already starting to happen. So people coming out with law degrees, what do they do?
Do you know what? There's we're doing a bit of a legal thing right now, and our example is a good example where you want a good lawyer thinking strategy and things like that. But 99% of the time, you just don't need that. You don't need that level of advice. You can just, the things can be quite linear, or just understanding the parameters of your legal position rather than actually even just doing anything that's legal. It's just knowing what your position is to make better decisions. And a lot of that is just gone now. I don't know about you guys. I use ChatGPT for everything like that, where I'm like, where do I stand on this? And if I need the advice, then sure, get the corporate lawyer involved or get a commercial lawyer involved, depending on what it is. But the commercial, that's all you need. You don't then need their paralegal to overlook something, because they can just use ChatGPT. And we've actually seen that happen already with a corporate lawyer. So yeah, I'd be worried if I was going into law right now. Fucking hell.
It's so funny, right? We're getting so many emails coming back from people using ChatGPT, and we're using ChatGPT back to them. So it's basically just computer talking to computer being sent manually by one of the staff.
Yeah.
You can read it because of the I think it's the semicolon that lists
the little things they put in.
write it, and you can just clearly go, "That's been written by ChatGPT." It's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is mad. I've got an interview with 3 Filipinos on Tuesday next week, just trying to get our first VA, because I just don't want any more staff. As much as I love them, it's just painful. I mean, if I can just consolidate as much as possible and get everything outsourced, all the sort of back office stuff. But I don't know if they're going to use an element of AI as well, because it's all data entry and bits and bobs that.
As soon as I started getting up, this is probably now 8 months ago, I did a training session with everyone in our company on how to use AI, how to use ChatGPT effectively in your role. So I did an example of every single person's role, an example of, because if you think about it, if that person is then saving 20% of their time, you're getting 20% more of the workforce for free.
I've built it into my reply DNA now. So as soon as someone asks me a question, I'll ask them, what did ChatGPT say? Just basically the what ChatGPT, rather than just what would you do? It's now what would ChatGPT do? And just get them to constantly go back into bed it in. I mean, it's all on their desktop now. It's the first thing. It's open on their screen everywhere. It has to be, because it's so much more efficient than using your brain. But then Charlotte said to me the other day, Amelie's never going to have to write an email or have to sit and think about the structure. It's mad. And what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years is when you have to think about writing the email, because it'll all be computer talking to computer.
Hey, look, I think I said this in one of the last episodes, but the new guy, Danny, we just hired, he's just straight out of college and hired him on aptitude. And I think you want the best staff bases are going to be the ones that have personality, who are able to talk with people, who've got good sales attributes. Those are the people, those are the assets you want. Like, gone are the days of a PhD and people who are like really good and behind a laptop and a really good domain expertise. All of that's going to be AI, and it's the point of contact with the consumer. That point is going to become like the last bastion for humans to like compete on, and that would be the distinguishing factor between service companies. So I think hiring on that kind of aptitude, people who are really good with people, who've got character, I think that's going to be like gold dust.
Have you seen like all of these AI videos that are coming out? Like, I've seen them on Instagram where it's like interview style, and it's all obviously completely generated. And there's going to become a point where we don't actually know what's real and what's not. So I think we're going to massively swing into like authenticity. Like, for an example, all of the really crisp videos that we've all been trying to shoot in a marketing aspect, we're going to try and go back to like the Blair Witch project, like feeling the moment. The people are the more important thing, because you can generate anything now.
I've literally just started doing that with Sky Lofts, Jack. Is that, yes, you can get a 5-star review. Everyone's got hundreds of 5-star reviews now. Which ones are real or not, who knows? But I try and get our customers to write 6 or 7 paragraphs about their detail. And now I've actually started trying to capture. I ring them ahead and go, look, I'm just going to record a little bit of us having a catch up. I'm trying to walk through the door, walk into their loft, and just ask them what it's like to work with Sky Lofts, because I want other customers to feel what that customer feels when they use us. And that is so hard to get on a video when it's not manufactured or people are faking it. And that's exactly it. It's already naturally, I'm already thinking, how do I actually get people to, in their natural environment, to tell others their emotion about what it's like to work with us? And it's difficult to do, and it looks a bit raw and a bit amateur, but actually it's more real, and people believe.
I think it depends. It's so the value proposition is in how you come across more so than how you filmed it. I think that's always that the winners are always the ones who just genuinely deliver good content, like good value, good content. Those that make it look good with the Lamborghini in the background and shit like that, they're never around long, because they've got nothing to say, have they? And they run out of Lamborghinis to film. And you'll be sound, mate. You just keep that fucking charming smile going. I always reference used to. Whenever people ask me, like, how can I start on Instagram? Do I need to hire someone? And like, what editing software do I need? I'm like, go watch Stuart Wyeth. He just fucking has his iPhone out, films himself go around a site, and it's nice to watch, and you can keep up to date with his projects and stuff. It's so easy. Anyone can do it.
Yeah, cheers, mate. It's so embarrassing at the start, but it has made a massive difference, and it's good. The digital scrapbook, it is if you just get over the fact that you've got to be on camera, and then it allows you to open up doors like doing this, and just sort of capture your journey and and capture current affairs. And I get to catch up with you boys every week, so yeah, it's well worth the time.
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you go and subscribe to the Ground Up Podcast.